Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. On today's webinar from the International Alliance of ALS MND Associations, bringing voices to life across borders, this webinar will offer end-to-end demonstration of how to create and use AI voice tools from concept to completion. You will see step-by-step walkthroughs that show how these technologies can be applied in diverse global contexts. And for those watching the recording, you will be able to see the instructions in the comments box on how to access the subtitle. Para este seminario web tenemos subtítulos en inglés y español disponibles, pero en la grabación tendremos subtítulos en inglés y en español disponibles y podrán en los comentarios ver las instrucciones de cómo accederlos. Thank you to our sponsor, Mitsubishi Tanabe Pharma America, without whom this webinar would not be possible. Thank you very much. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Jessica Maid, Programs Coordinator for the International Alliance, and I have the pleasure to introduce your presenter and moderator for today. Trinity Dybert is a speech-language pathologist and augmentative communication specialist with over 20 years of experience, particularly with people with ALS. She's known for her work at Bridging Voice, a nonprofit organization where she focuses on education to improve the lives of people living with ALS. Moderating the Q&A portion of this webinar is Jarnell Chudge. Jarnell Chudge is the Alliance Innovation and Technology Lead and previously served as a design and innovation architect at Microsoft's Enable Group. He co-founded Microsoft Soundscape, an audio augmented reality project using 3D spatial sound. His work focuses on inclusive design and how technology can enhance human capability for everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank a few of the contributors to this webinar. By sharing their experiences, they've made the demonstrations you'll see today even more valuable. We truly appreciate their support. Gudjon Sigurdsson, diagnosed with ALS in 2004, has served as chairman of MND Iceland since 2005. A longtime leader with the International Alliance, including as chair from 2008 to 2008 and 2012, and he received the 2012 Humanitarian Award for his advocacy. His mission is to ensure the voice of people living with ALS is represented in every association with Nothing About Us Without Us. Orlando Rees, a mechanical engineer with an MBA, was diagnosed with ALS in 2001. In 2008, with the support of his wife and family, he founded ACELA, the Colombian ALS Association, which has since supported over 3,000 families across Latin America. As ACELA's president, he continues to strengthen connections with the global ALS community through the Alliance and PCAC. Now, I do apologize, I might not say this name correctly. Fidelis Chiari is a project lead at Census Hub in Nairobi, Kenya, dedicated to advancing disability inclusion through innovation and collaboration. She has led multiple accessibility initiatives, including an automatic speech recognition project for people with speech impairments, promoting more inclusive voice technologies. Richard Cave is a speech therapist and co-director of the Center for Digital Language Inclusion CDLI at UCL's Global Disability Innovation Hub. He leads work on AI speech recognition for people with speech changes from ALS, MND, and other conditions across English and African languages. His research and advisory roles focus on improving communication and voice banking for those affected by MND. And Pamela Pere is a speech-language pathologist from Guayaquil, Ecuador, with a master's degree and clinical training in the U.S. After nearly a decade in Miami, she returned to Ecuador to continue her practice, specializing in speech and swallowing therapy for older adults, including individuals living with ALS. She's passionate about making a meaningful difference in her patients' lives. Now, some final instructions. Any questions you have for our panel, please write them in the Zoom Q&A box. I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who pre-submitted their questions. There is a lot to cover today, and we will do our best to answer as many questions as we can in the time we have. I will now turn it over to Trinity, Richard, and Jarnell, our presenters and moderator for today.
Perfect. All right, and as we know, we are all in the business of technical difficulties. So let's see how I do with getting things started today for us all. All right. Okay, perfect. Are you, Richard, can you confirm you are seeing my agenda at this time?
I absolutely can, and it looks great.
Perfect. All right, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for this opportunity to be here. And I have attempted to create the most inclusive and pretty presentation of this topic for you all so we can really break this down to make this as easy and as clear as possible. Again, please feel free to answer any question or ask any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. I want to say thank you to so many people who have helped me make this presentation possible, including my team at Bridging Voice. And I am grateful to all of our speakers and everyone who donated their voice and their time to me to make this happen. And so I'm grateful to you all. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about Bridging Voice. We are a nonprofit based here in the United States. We provide free communication support to people with ALS throughout the country. We've worked in all 50 states of our country. And I forgot to change the slide, but we are now up to 47 different countries that we have provided support into, which is fabulous. Most importantly, our services are always free. The services that we provide are guiding clients to finding the right communication tools, providing one-on-one training and technical support with adaptations. We do a lot of customizations. So we build innovations and customizations. And for example, this happens to be one. You're going to see some coming up here. My piece to this is the professional education and training. This is where I'm very passionate about disseminating this information so that we can all help our clients and our individuals with MND and ALS throughout the globe. Um, so that's about me. We also have Mr. Richard Cave, who I am absolutely honored to have joining us today. He is here with us. As said before, Richard is a speech language therapist and the co-director for the Center of Digital Language Inclusion. And our chat information or our contact information, Jessica is dropping those in the links or for us, but I'm going to also be presenting that at the end. As well as the link for the Center for Digital Language Inclusion. And I am honored to have Richard here with me today. We have presented before and always enjoy the opportunity to present on this topic together. The first thing we should talk about is what is the difference between voice banking and voice cloning? This is a very common question that gets asked, and so we're going to talk about that today. So I want to be very clear on this topic. So I'm going to read the slide because I have worked very hard to make this to be a very clear statement. Voice banking is the process of recording a person's natural speech to create a synthetic computer approximation of their voice. So it is a synthetic computer approximation. That is voice banking. Voice cloning is the creation of a highly accurate voice clone, which are often indistinguishable from a person's natural voice. The voice clone requires internet connection or cellular data to use the voice for the initial creation of a new or novel message. I'm going to say that again. It requires internet connection or cellular data to use the voice for the initial creation of a new or novel message. Very important point, and we're gonna address that here in just a little bit. So I'd like you to be able to hear the difference between a voice banking voice and a professional voice clone. So my coworker Abby, who is the one who helped me with the videos that you're going to see later on, I'm grateful to her. This is her voice. So you're going to listen to her uh, recorded natural voice, and then you're going to listen to a traditional banked voice. So let's listen to that now. And she is going to do the quick brown fox passage.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
So that's Abby's natural voice. This is her voice banked voice.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
So you can hear the prosody or the timing is a little bit different. You can hear the computer synthesis aspect to that. That is the voice bank. Now let's listen to Abby's voice again to kind of cleanse your palate.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
I'm going to play that again since there's a little bit of a hiccup with that.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Okay, that's her natural voice. Now let's listen to her professional voice clone. This is her AI voice clone.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
A little bit fast, which you can control for, but sounds much more like her. So I want to introduce you today to ElevenLabs. And again, there are multiple AI voice clones available, but today we are going to talk about ElevenLabs. So let's go ahead and listen to this amazing video.
Hello everyone, my name is Orlando Ruiz, founder and president of the ALS MND Association of Colombia, and I want to share my experience with you. In March 2001, I was diagnosed with ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or MND, motor neuron disease. In 2004, I lost my voice due to this disease. Recently, thanks to the technology of ElevenLabs, I have been able to recover my voice using recordings from 40 years ago. This technology has been life-changing for me. Now, with my cloned voice, many of my old friends have started contacting me more often, sending me audios and videos that bring me a lot of joy. I have been using my own cloned voice for my work as president of the ALS MND Association of Colombia. Having a more authentic voice through my eye tracking device has made a huge difference in my daily life. I feel more connected with my friends and loved ones, and this has greatly improved my quality of life. I hope my story inspires others and shows the power of assistive technology to improve our lives. Thank you very much.
That is an absolutely fabulous video. And Richard and I have had the honor of seeing videos similar to this over and over and over again. So I am grateful for Orlando to share this video with us. So let's talk about ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is a for-profit company that has an impact program in place and is working with partners all across the globe. And although today we are talking about ALS and MND, I do want you to know, because a lot of us who are therapists or assisting in the voice banking realm, we have clients of other conditions as well, or those that maybe kind of fall right outside of that ALS MND with a diagnosis that isn't specified. Just want you to know that they have multiple partners across multiple diagnoses all across the globe. Everything from head and neck cancer, cerebral palsy, as well as multiple different motor neuron diseases, including Parkinson's and ALS and MND. They are on track to give out 1 million free licenses for creating clones to people who have a qualifying diagnoses. And again, that is a pretty big range of way. Currently, right now, there is a beta version of actually alpha version of the 3.0, which offers 74 different languages. Now, it is important for me to recognize that that is alpha, and those languages are currently in the process of getting better with time. I just want to make that very clear with those. It is very easy to build or create a language, a voice with very limited recordings. When voice banking first came on the scene, there was a recommendation to do thousands of recordings in order to create a good quality voice. I think you're going to be very surprised as we work through this process how little recording that you can get to create a voice. These voices are often indistinguishable from natural voices, but not in every case. Not in every case. I want to be honest about that, but they are often indistinguishable from your own natural voice. These ElevenLabs voices, these AI voice clones, work with AAC apps and AAC software, which is the biggest change that has happened within the last year and a half is the ability for, our ALS and MND users to actually harness this technology, which is very important. So, as Jessica shared previously, we are really working you through the entire process today. We are going to show you step by step how you can go from learning about this to actually creating the voice. Now, again, this is a lot of information that may get a little overwhelming. So please don't get too bogged down. You're going to have access to this recording for in the future. I am going to give you access to support systems to help you. And if you're going to be in Toronto, I am going to be doing a masterclass on this process and actually helping you create your voice in person. So you will have lots of options in order to be able to get really good at this, either creating a voice for yourself or as a professional, being able to create a voice to share with others. So let's start with the ElevenLabs account creation. So again, Abby has done an amazing job at creating some videos for us. I do want to tell you that if you have done educational courses, maybe even seen them through Bridging Voice prior to this, ElevenLabs just released a brand new process for partners, which do happen to cover our clients as well as people with ALS and MND. And there is some very lovely features about this. And one of the best things I am grateful to ElevenLabs for with this process is they have now removed the need to have a credit card. Previously, you needed to input a credit card in order to create your account, even though you had a free code. The credit card feature is now gone, which I believe very much levels that playing field for all socioeconomic statuses. And I'm absolutely grateful to ElevenLabs for that process. So let's watch this new process on how to do this.
On your computer, open an internet browser and type in the webpage ElevenLabs.io. Click on Sign Up. Enter your email address and a password that you can easily remember. Click the image of the eye at the end of the password line to see what you have typed and confirm it's correct. Click the Sign Up button when you're finished. The website will send a confirmation email to your email address with a link for you to click on to confirm your account. If you have not received the email within 5 minutes, please check your spam folder. You can click Resend to try again if the email does not come to your inbox or spam folder. When you have received the confirmation email, open it and click on the Verify Email link. This will take you back to the ElevenLabs website and ask you to sign into your account again using the email and password you just created. Enter those and click Sign In. Once you are signed into your account, you can choose if you prefer light or dark mode, which will set a white or black background on the website. The most common is light mode. Click Continue. It will then ask you for some personal information including your name, date of birth, and preferred language. Enter this information and click on the Next button. You will be asked a few optional questions that you can choose to answer or click the Skip button at the bottom of each question. When it asks you to choose your platform, keep the default choice for Creative Platform and click Continue. Again, you may skip most of the other questions or choose an answer for each if you'd like. When the website presents the different subscription options, you will scroll down to the bottom of the page and skip this step, which will take you to the ElevenLabs website. In the bottom left corner, you will see either your name or My Account. Click there, which will open a pop-out menu. In this menu, click on Apply for Impact Program. On the next page, again click on Apply for Impact Program, which will open a form. Fill in the required information for your last name, birth year, and location. Under Partner, click Select a Partner, and choose Bridging Voice from the list.
I'm going to pause here. There are multiple different partners. And so, yes, Bridging Voice did create this. So that's why you see Bridging Voice. But you can choose, there are multiple different partners that are there. And if you don't have a partner, and this is global, your contact is going to be Mr. Richard Cave, UCL.
Scroll down to the bottom and click Continue. On the next screen, you will be prompted to send an email to Bridging Voice, letting us know that you have applied for the Impact Program.
And again, this will be different for different partners, so feel free to follow the instructions with the partner that you have selected.
Click on the icon for your email type. If you are already logged into your email account on this computer, it will automatically start an email for you. Note that you must attach a letter from your physician or speech-language pathologist that attests to your diagnosis of ALS in order to confirm your eligibility for a free Impact Program account. After attaching the diagnosis confirmation letter, click Send, which will return you to the website. If you click on your email service, and you are not signed in on the computer already, it will take you to the login screen for your email. Sign in and then generate the email and attach the letter from your physician or speech-language pathologist before sending. Once you have sent the email to Bridging Voice with the attached verification letter, you can click Done at the bottom of the form. This will return you to the Impact Program dashboard, which should show that you have a pending application. The application may not be approved immediately, so you may need to wait to receive an email that lets you know when you've been approved. This message will come to the same email that you used to create your ElevenLabs account. When the email arrives, you can click Get Started to be taken directly back to the ElevenLabs webpage to continue the process of creating your voice clone.
Perfect. Now, one of the benefits to this new process, although it is different and it looks like it would take a long time, it actually doesn't. It's much shorter timeline. So for example, if I'm looking to make a voice and I am working with Richard, I can go through the process and he can actually approve it right during my same session. And so this can be one session versus multiple sessions. So I would like to talk about some security related to your account, okay? The first thing I'm going to say is that, and we will talk about this later, but I did want to include this in the security. There are two types of clones. One is an instant voice clone and a professional voice clone. The professional voice clone does in fact have a watermark involved with it. And the watermark is embedded in the voice clone so that other computers know that it is in fact a voice clone. It is not an actual voice. There are two-factor authentications as well. Richard, did you want to take over the slide? I can't remember where you were going to go and where I was going to go. I was just chugging along.
I was hanging on your every word, which is just everything was great. Yes. So there are, security is a question that often gets asked for ElevenLabs because these voices are so authentic. So the watermark, yes, two-factor authentication. If you want to enable that, you can enable that at any time, just like other important account details in which you may have elsewhere. And also you can choose not to share any of your recordings or data outside of your account. Some people are happy to contribute their recordings to make better models for everyone. Other people are very, very sure that actually they want to keep their stuff to themselves, and you can choose either of them. So it's very easy to do this. In your new account, it's just like this is Trinity's account. You click on Trinity, then you click on Terms and Privacy, and then, sorry, tick settings, terms and privacy, data use, and you switch it off if you don't want to share, and it's done. So it's literally a minute and you can do it straight away. Most important thing to say, the default is to share. So if you do not want to share, just click off.
Absolutely. All right, so that's how to set your account up. Now let's talk about the voice creation, which is what we're all here for. This is the good stuff. So let's again refresh. I mentioned it quickly, but I want to re-say it. There are two types of clone. The first one is the instant voice clone. The second one is the professional voice clone. Now, you're going to see numbers about how much time it actually takes to create a voice clone, and those numbers are going to vary widely. The truth of the matter is, we have made voice clones with like 38 seconds. I have done it with just a couple of voicemails. But does it give you the most optimal version of that? It does not. When you hit that 2-minute mark is where you hit the next benchmark for a good instant voice clone. It just keeps getting better from there. Now, the professional voice clone, again, that first mark is about 10 minutes, depending on the quality of that voice recording for a professional voice clone. But again, gets better, and its next benchmark is 30 minutes. The instant voice clone does not require a verification, and we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. The professional voice clone does require a verification. Again, the professional voice clone is considered to be very close to your own voice, often indistinguishable, and it also, again, has that watermark included. All right, so how can you create a voice clone? So what I have shown you here is that for your instant voice clone and your professional voice clone, you can do recorded live speech, as in you are recording directly in to the website, or you can upload recordings. And the lovely thing about this presentation is not only are we going to show you various languages of these recordings, we're going to show you various ways in which you can create a voice. All right. So we have 3 voices that we are going to share today. The first one is going to be a professional voice clone in Spanish by Pamela. So she created 30 minutes of recordings. She didn't want to sit down all at once, so she did 30 minutes of recordings, and then she uploaded those voices to the website. The second one, I am very grateful for Guthian, who happens to be with us today. We did an instant voice recording, and you're going to actually see 2 different ways that we did a voice for Guthian. And then lastly, we are going to see Fidelis. And Fidelis actually has a voice that is donated to her by her sister. Her sister did those recordings for her, and I'm grateful for those as well. Again, like I said, this took a village to make this presentation, and I'm grateful to each one of these individuals. Let me talk really quickly about, so you're going to see that both Guthian and Fidelis use their voice personally due to their own condition. Pamela is a speech language pathologist, and she is using her voice in order to be able to show other individuals the process as well as be able to demonstrate her voice. As a professional, you can get a free license to be able to use your voice as a demo model as well. So this is Pamela. And Pamela created her voice using 30 minutes of audio files uploaded to the ElevenLabs website. Now, as we said previously, especially being at Bridging Voice, we are in the business of technical difficulties. So I made this beautiful recording of Pamela, and the audio of me speaking did not work. So I'm going to voice over live as we are doing this process. All right, so we are going to start with the professional voice clone creation for Pamela. As you can see, and she is in the process of adding a new voice. And she is going to, you can see there's multiple voice options. And in this case, she is going to choose the professional voice clone. You can see it says 5 minutes, but in fact, she is going to use more than that. So using the create new clone in the lower right-hand corner, this page is just giving you information about best practices, which we are going to go over in just a little bit. And so you can see me talking. You get to see me talking twice. So
Okay.
Pamela is going to enter a name for herself to create a voice.
Ah.
And then using the column on the left-hand side, she is going to choose her language of her recordings, which happen to be in Spanish. And you don't have to put a description in. But one thing that is important is the accent label that's at the bottom left-hand corner. You're going to choose your accent.
Okay.
And in this case, she's
Perfect.
going to choose Ecuadorian.
Oh.
And
Okay.
if you happen to have a
Move
language,
here.
if you happen to
Okay.
have a language that has multiple variants of dialect, you can choose that as well. So for example, for I speak English, you select English and you have to select American English because it wants to revert to the Queen's English. We learned this very quickly. Also, you are able to select, for example, like Southern, or you can select you can't select West Coast, which is where I am from, but you can select East Coast, so you can select different variant dialects if they are available within your language. You can also select gender, and by selecting gender, it does change the prosody, or for example, in English, ladies have more likelihood to elevate the sound at the end when it comes to a question. So you will see that reflected by selecting the gender. I have also used the other option that you have in those labels is age range, and I'll tell you the benefit to that. So I had a young individual who we didn't have recordings for him, except for ones that were when he was much, much younger, and his pitch was a lot higher, and he subsequently has aged. And so we wanted the pitch to be lower to reflect just his changes in life. So I selected that his age was middle-aged versus younger, and that allowed the AI computer to automatically decrease the pitch of his audio going in. I didn't have to edit it at all. The AI aspect of it did that for him, or for me, which is lovely. So at this point, you can upload samples or record yourself. Now, again, like I said, Pamela already has recordings that she saved, again, because she didn't sit down and record all at once. And so what she's going to do is she's going to go over to the file on her desktop. She's going to locate those, and she's going to grab a hold of those files and just drop and bring them over. And I have to tell you, a lot of times people get very confused by this step because it truly is just so easy that you think that you're not doing it. So again, she's going to grab a hold of it and she's going to drop it over. Just click on it and bring it over and drop it, and you can actually see her audio files uploading currently.
Perfect.
You can see she's got 27 minutes and now she's got 33 minutes and it's happy. I'm doing the wiggle wobble happy dance. And next she's going to click the next button in the lower right-hand corner.
Okay.
And this is going to bring her to her voice verification. As we said, with a professional voice, you do need a verification. Now, because her voice is still the same as her voice in the recordings, she will be able to speak directly into the website to verify her voice. So you have to give your microphone permissions. And there'll be a couple of sentences that come up on the screen, and you just read the sentence.
Nada desaparece hasta que nos haya enseñado lo que necesitamos saber.
That's how simple it is in order to verify your voice. Now, let's listen to Pamela's voice. I did some translation on the screen for anybody that can benefit from it, including myself. So let's listen to Pamela's voice clone.
Hola, mi nombre es Pamela Peré, soy fonoaudióloga y vivo en Ecuador. Este es mi clon de voz profesional y planeo usar esta voz para motivar a otros a crear su propio clon de voz. Saludos.
Pretty nice voice clone. So she did that by actually just recording into her phone, creating the audio files. She sent them to herself and then just dropped them right in. And again, she had 30 minutes. Now let's talk about some tips for creating high quality audio recordings. So using a file type of MP3 or MP4 will definitely make your life a bit easier as you're dropping those files in. Very important. Reduce the background noise. Luckily, the voice recordings do automatically reduce background noise when you drop them in, but the cleaner the audio, the better. If you have background noise that is about the same level as the speech noise, the AI gets pretty confused by dropping off the beginning or the ending of a word, and then it seems to be like a completely different language. The most important thing to creating a good recording and a recording that will be accepted honestly by any technology company is only having one speaker's voice. Because there are so many checkboxes and attestations to saying that you are the owner of this voice and you have every right to use your own voice, only one voice can be present on that recording. And I can tell you that I've left little tiny chunks, like a half of a word of a different voice, and these computers pick it up. So only one speaker voice can be on this recording. Also, keeping a consistent distance from the recording actually helps to keep the voice consistent. So for example, if I'm using my phone, I'm going to keep it here. I don't want it to be like all the way across the room trying to record. If you're using a headset, of course, the lovely thing about it is that it's consistent, the distance as well. This is also very important, especially when doing a voice clone over doing a voice bank, is using emotion. Okay, if you record really flatly, like you're going to read like the stock reports, or you're going to read the news, it is going to be, your voice is going to sound flat. The more emotion that you put into your voice, the more that you have. As you can imagine, Richard, you're going to get to hear Richard's voice and my voice. We have a very different speaking style. If I did a recording in Richard's style, I'm going to sound like Richard with Trinity voice. And if Richard did a recording in my style, he's going to sound like me with a Richard voice. So it is very important. Ideas to get a really nice recording are to tell a story, answer a question, or read a children's book. Children's books have lots of fun things to them. Now, to record, you can on a PC computer, you can use a free program such as Audacity. On an Apple phone or on an iPad, I do have to tell you that the microphone on a phone is better than on an iPad. You can use Voice Recorder HD or voice memos. Android has a built-in voice recorder app. If you're collecting past recordings, social media, WhatsApp, tons of WhatsApp messages can make fabulous voices. Voicemails and voice memos are all great things to grab recordings from. Now, how do you edit this audio to make sure that it's best possible for making these voices? LaunchLab, which we will be talking about from ElevenLabs, has a volunteer program. You can also, one of my colleagues here in the Northwest of United States, Ashley, created a really nice document on how you can use Audacity to take a ton of little files and be able to compile those into one to create a voice, or previous recordings that maybe that you did for voice banking that you want to put all together into one file and be able to drop in is lovely. I just did one the other day that it was over 1,000 little tiny voice files, compiled them into one in like 30 seconds, which was so lovely. And then I'm just being able to drop that all into ElevenLabs in one shot. Also, Boston Children's Hospital has a YouTube website, and on their YouTube website, they have amazing Audacity resources that you can go and grab. Now, you saw before that Pamela needed to do voice verification because she did a professional clone. So she recorded directly into the website, usually 1 or 2 sentences. I may ask for 3. That is an option. Now, if your voice is not the same as your recordings, you do need to do what's called a manual verification process. You need to have 3 pieces: a copy of such an identification, such as a driver's license, a letter from your doctor or your speech therapist stating that you have ALS that has impacted your ability to speak, and then also a confirmation of identity, which can be found on the website as well as our Bridging Voice website. And I gave the link to Jessica, so she's going to drop that in there as well. Very important thing, you have to submit all 3 of these documents at one time. You cannot submit them one at a time, so get them all ready before you finish your verification. So let's watch this in the new system, how to do this.
If you are unable to complete voice verification on the ElevenLabs website, you will instead complete manual verification. There are 3 documents you will need to complete manual verification. First, a photo or scan of your driver's license or passport photo page. Second, the person with ALS must sign the ElevenLabs manual verification form. To download a copy of the manual verification form, go to the website bridgingvoice.org/ElevenLabs. Scroll down to the FAQs section at the bottom of the website. Locate the Technical tab and click on this. Find the section that discusses the manual verification process and click to open it. There will be a link in this drop-down to download the manual verification form. Complete the information on the second page. Have the person with ALS sign electronically, in writing or using a signature stamp. Scan or take a photo to save a copy of the document on your computer for uploading to the ElevenLabs website. The third document you'll need is a letter or clinical note signed by your physician or speech-language pathologist that attests to your diagnosis of ALS. You may have already gotten a letter when you applied for the IMPACT program, and you can use the same letter for voice verification. Or, if you're working with a Bridging Voice staff, they can provide this letter. It is best to prepare and save all 3 of these documents on your computer before you complete manual verification. When you have your 3 manual verification documents ready and saved on your computer, return to the ElevenLabs.io website. If you're not already signed in, click Login and enter your email and password to sign in. From the ElevenLabs homepage, click on Voices at the left side of the screen. In the top center of the next screen, click on My Voices. In the list below, if you have more than one clone, make sure to find your professional voice clone. Click on the 3 dots to the right side of that line. In the menu, you will either see Finish Voice or Edit Voice and click on this. You will see your uploaded or recorded audio files here and click on Next in the bottom right corner of the screen. You may also need to click Continue. In the bottom right corner of the next screen, click on Manual Verification, which will bring up an uploader pop-up. Click on Upload Files in the center of the screen, which will open up a window showing all of the files on your computer. Locate the folder where you saved your manual verification forms. You can hold down the Shift key on your keyboard to select all 3 of the documents at once and click Open, or you can open one document at a time. Make sure to upload all 3 documents. It is optional to type any notes about your documents, but not required. Click Request Verification. You will see a confirmation in the bottom right corner of the screen that your manual verification request has been sent. Note that it can sometimes take more than the projected 6 hours because ElevenLabs staff need to review your documents and then create your professional voice clone. But often clones are finished within 24 hours. You will receive an email from ElevenLabs when your voice clone is finished.
All right. And this is a big change to the process before. Before you sent an email, then they sent an email back, and then it was quite a process back and forth that many people got lost in that. Now, I am excited to share with you Gusion, who happens to be with us today. We did an instant voice clone for him using his Icelandic voice. Now, the Icelandic voice is one of the new voices in the additional up to 72 alpha voices, and we have started. I want to have full transparency about this voice, of which Gusion and I talked extensively about. So Gusion has already had voice changes. We did a recording for him using an ElevenLabs website as well as a headset, and he did 4 30-second recordings. So you're going to see our process of making this. Okay, so let's start, and then we're going to talk in depthly about this voice. Okay, we are all set up and you are ready to go to start making your voice, okay? One of the things that you can see is this pop-up window comes up and it clearly states that this is the Pro tier, which is what your code is meant for, which is perfect. Now, this is just going to give you a lot of information about their different options and features that you can have. But the most important thing for you to know about is your instant voice clone, which is what we're going to do today, and your professional voice clone, which is what we're going to do in the future when you find those recordings. Okay, so up here at the right-hand side, you can see create or clone a voice. And I do have to tell you, this interface changes very frequently. So if you're looking at this video in the future, you may find things in a little bit different position, but always know that that's what you're looking for. You're looking for create or clone a voice. So let's go ahead and start with that. Today, we're going to do an instant voice clone. And again, 2 minutes optimal, but look, you can clone your voice with only 10 seconds of audio. So if you weren't able to record with me today and we needed to put like a single voicemail or a WhatsApp message in, we could do that. But let's focus on this voice clone, instant voice clone today. Okay. So let's look at some of the information about this. Number one, avoid a noisy environment. We don't want a lot of background noise like other people talking or music going in the background. You are in a perfect environment right now where you don't have that going on, which is lovely. Check the microphone quality. You are using a headset with a boom mic so that your mic will stay consistently away from your face. And I've been listening to your voice quality while we're in the process of setting this up, and your voice sounds lovely. And again, use consistent equipment. We're going to do a couple of recordings today, and so you'll be using the same equipment. But if you got tired and needed to come back again another day to do a recording, that would be just fine. You would be able to do that. So I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And then you'll see me click the record audio, and I would like you just to talk to me, just as if we're doing face-to-face. That's going to give you that best emotion and intonation and feeling. So, all right. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your ALS journey and how you face your diagnosis and continue to live fully with ALS, because you definitely live a very full life. So again, let's do this in 30-second chunks, okay, for your recordings, and then you can let me know when you're done.
Já, ég hef það í huga að ég dæmdur til að lifa, ekki til að deyja. Þannig að ég nýti allan minn tíma til að lifa og njóta, ekki til að vera deyja.
Go ahead, just keep going.
Það svo leiðilegt að vera deyja og ég eyddi fyrstu mánuðunum í það. En vitið hvað, það miklu skemmtilegra að vera lifandi og skemmta sér.
Great.
Okay.
So we're now at 2.5 minutes. Let's go ahead and use that. And again, we could always add more recordings later to improve your voice if you wanted to. But let's start with this today. Button that's checked to remove background noise from the audio recordings, which is fabulous, like a car driving by or anything like that. It will take that out. Plus, it will
Yeah.
enhance your voice. So it's wonderful to go ahead and leave that. Let's go ahead and hit next. And now it's working its magic. Okay. So let's go ahead and give this voice a name. So this is going to be your instant clone. So I'll just go ahead and write instant behind it. That way in the future, if we do a pro clone, we can put that. All right, so we went over this before, so I'm going to hold off on this just in the interest of time. Now let's listen to Gudion's voice, and then we're going to talk about this voice.
Halló, ég heiti Guðjón. Ég formaður MND á Íslandi. Þetta mitt eigið raddklón búinn til úr upptökum.
So full transparency, Gudion listened to this voice and said, this doesn't sound like me. Gudion's family listened to this voice and said, this doesn't sound like me. So we played with some settings, and I did see that somebody asked about how do I use this in Adobe. I'm going to be talking about that in just a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. He did not like this voice, and I respected that because although we are presenting a very pretty picture, not every voice comes out exact. So the next section of this was Gudion found a video that he had created for the MND a little while back. It had some really nice audio recording, and I made a voice from that. So let's listen to from this recording. We'll listen just a couple minutes.
Ef ekki væri fyrir MND-teymið, værum við sjúklingar eins og laufi vindi. Færum hring eftir hring stjórnlaust að fá MND-greininguna
So that is a recording. Then we made a second voice. This is the second voice that I made using these recordings versus what you heard previously.
Halló, ég heiti Guðjón. Ég formaður MND á Íslandi. Þetta mitt eigið raddklón, búinn til úr upptökum. Hvað finnst þér?
So while Gudion felt that this voice was more representative of his own, he still didn't feel that it was perfect. And again, I fully respect that. And we have that happen when we make voices, but he thought this one was more closer to a more closely represented his voice. All right. This is, I'm very excited. So we have Fidelis and Mary Ann as well. And I am going to pass this over to Richard.
Yeah, so I'm really excited that we have, because the voice cloning is free and available globally, that for the first time people in Africa are able to benefit from these voice clones. And additionally, in the languages that in some languages that people speak. Now, this lady is called Marianne. She does not have ALS, but she lost her voice at a young age due to meningitis, and she didn't have any recordings of her natural voice, and so her sister offered to create a clone on her behalf. And so this commonly happens. So her sister Charlotte did it, and we're in partnership with the Census Hub in Kenya. And I actually believe this is probably the first time ElevenLabs voice cloning has been used in Kenya, and it's free to everybody there, along with the rest of Africa. Let's play the tape.
At Census Hub, our main mission is to use technology to create equal opportunities for everyone. And every day we work to connect people to innovations that better their lives. One of the main challenges that people go through would be loss of speech, with most of the communication tools relying heavily on synthetic voices. Someone's voice really carries their identity and their dignity, as it's very personal to them again, and it also carries their emotion. And once we use synthetic voices, we take this away from them. So with this collaboration that we have with ElevenLabs, we are bringing something that is so amazing, as we are able to create synthetic voices that are personalized to people, so they can use synthetic voices that are more personalized to them.
Hello. My name is Marianne M. Mary. I am the Communications Officer at the United Disabled Persons of Kenya and also a startup founder. I lost my voice when I was very young after a meningitis attack. Since then, I've relied on sign language and apps to communicate. But the voices I use don't sound anything like me. They sound foreign. It always feels awkward using them. I've been wanting to get a localized voice that could bring out my personality and cultural background. Thankfully, through Census Hub and ElevenLabs, my dreams are coming true. I have my own unique voice, which I own, that has been donated by my sister Charlotte. As a communications officer and disability advocate, my voice is a big part of my work. I want to be understood, not judged, based on the technology I use. A foreign voice distracts from the main point when I am speaking. So this is a great opportunity for me to be heard in my own voice. Thank you to ElevenLabs and Census Hub for allowing me reclaim my voice.
I volunteered to be Marianne's donor because she's my sister, so naturally I would want to help because she also helps me. But deeper than that, I wanted to be part of this great work that ElevenLabs and Census Hub are doing to make assistive technology more comfortable to people with disabilities. And so I wanted to have her use my voice, which is more customized and, can I say, Kenyanized, so that when she is speaking to her audience, she becomes more relatable.
This is a voice donor, which is a very lovely option for a lot of people to be able to use their voice. All right, there's been lots of questions about it, so let's get to this important stuff. So let's talk about integration. So how can you use an ElevenLabs voice? So on a PC, Smartbox, which is the maker of Grid 3, the communication software, automatically has ElevenLabs integrated. ASI has Autonomy, that is also integrated. On Android, the Speech Assistant AAC app is automatically integrated. Yep, sorry. Apple, if you're using Apple iOS-based products, you can use Speech Assistant, Predictable, Talk to Me Goose, and Grid for iPad. All of those have integrations already built. Now, on a PC, Windows-based device, you do need a intermediate step, which is the Bridging Voice Integration program. And so for Yabla Mind Express, Tobii Communicator 5, Tobii Snap, iGaze Inc. iWorld, and the PRC with Accent software, all of those need our integration process. For everything, for all of these, you need to get your API code, okay? That's like your password, okay? And this password you want to protect because this is the password to your voice. So let's watch a quick video on how to get your code because you need that for everything.
If you are not already signed into the ElevenLabs.io website, click Login and enter your email and password to sign in. In the lower left side of the screen, above your name, you will see a link for Developers. Click on this. Then toward the top center of the screen, click on API Keys. click the black Create Key button in the center of the screen. The default name will be some type of animal. We suggest changing the name to reflect where you are using this API key. For example, if you are putting it into a communication app or device, put the name of that software. Turn off the slider for Restrict Key in order to give the app or software permission to use your voice. Click Create Key at the bottom right corner. The API key will show only while this pop-up is open. Click Copy to Clipboard, and you'll see a notification at the bottom right that shows it has been copied. When you close the pop-up, you will no longer see the full key. This security measure makes sure the key is only used where you choose. You also have options to disable or delete an API key if you're no longer using it in a particular device or app, or if you lose a device. This is another security feature to make sure you have control over where your voice clone is used. Note that clicking on Copy Key ID in this menu does not recopy the same API key. This ID is a different number. After creating and copying the API key from the pop-up, you should go directly to your app or software to paste the API key into the settings so that the device can access your voice clone. Each device or software setup for ElevenLabs is different. Work with the device or app vendor or your therapist for help with setup if needed. If you do delete an API key either purposely or in error, you can follow the steps in this video again to create a new key and paste that key into whatever app or software you are using.
You could have multiple different API keys. There's no limit. So now how do you use that API key? So I am actually going to show you on grid 3. This is integrated. So just where you would normally select your voice, you would go to your speaking voice, and then you would choose your online voice. And you can see on the right-hand side, just right where you would drop that API key into. Now, this is also the same process for apps, and I have a list of those, which in just a little bit, I'm going to get to that slide. So if you want to use it in an app, we have the instructions on those, and I'm not going to go through each one of those because we will all gloss over and get confused. So again, API code, no matter what you're using it, is what you want to grab. That is your password to your voice and your key to your voice. Now, we talked about, for example, Toby. The Toby software does not have automatic integration, for example, like Grid 3 does. So you do need to have an intermediate connection, okay? That intermediate connection is the Bridging Voice Integration Program. This is free for anyone, okay? No matter where you are. You can go to our Bridging Voice website, bridgingvoice.org/ElevenLabs/integration. There are the instructions on how to download this and what you need to do. Again, in this one, you can see there is an API key location. You're going to drop your API key in there, and then you will choose your voice. Nice thing about this integration is it does allow you to have volume control. Sometimes your ElevenLabs voice will be really quiet in comparison to like your computer synthetic voice. So it allows you to kind of balance that out. It also allows you to have some stability and similarity and style exaggeration. So those are some features that you can play with to make your voice more similar to your own. Another option, and you can use this also with Grid 3 as otherwise, this allows you to cache your messages. And I'm going to explain that in just a little bit, why that is important. So using our integration process does allow for caching, which is how you can access your ElevenLabs voice when you are not on Wi-Fi, when you are not using cellular data. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Now, apps. All of these apps that you see on the screen have integration built into them, okay? I have grabbed the link for each one of them. Jessica is dropping them in the chat, and if you are watching this online, you can as well find this. These are the direct instructions for each one of the apps and in terms of how you integrate your voice, your ElevenLabs voice into these apps. And again, remember, all you need is that API code. So feel free to go back and watch that video at any point in time that you need it. Now, as I told you before, and I can't stress this enough, you can use your ElevenLabs voice when you are not on Wi-Fi or do not have a cellular data if you have previously said this same phrase. Okay, that's why I said in the very beginning, it's for new or novel. So for example, you can see I have Grid 3, I have Tobii Dynavox Communicator 5 phrases, I have Predictable and Speech Assistant, all of these apps. You can see these phrases. If I were to click on hello, how are you today? When I'm at home on Wi-Fi, it is going to send it out to ElevenLabs website. It is going to bring it back. I am going to hear my ElevenLabs voice. It is going to cache when you use our program. The lovely thing about that is that if you hit that button again, you are going to hear your ElevenLabs voice because it saved a copy of that phrase locally. So using stored messages for offline use is a perfect way to do it. We have a lot of people who give presentations. They will go into the text portion, like the text document portion of, for example, Grid 3 or Communicator software. They will create a full document. They will hit ElevenLabs Speak when they're at home. Then it will cache it locally. When they go back out to give a presentation, they can hit it again. You can do the same thing, for example, with questions that you may have for your doctor. Run them at home. When you go out into public, you will have access to those same phrases, as long as you don't change anything. They need to be linguistically the same. That's why using a button to store it makes sure that you have it exactly the same. I've given you a lot of information with a lot of different steps. But the truth of the matter is that there is support available to you. I hinted briefly about the Impact Voice Lab. This is a program from ElevenLabs that allows you to request support to help edit your audio. It also allows you to volunteer to edit other people's audio for them. So it is lovely as an option. You have the Bridging Voice website. We have a very inclusive website, and which we try to keep updated as things change, because like we said, things change quickly. So bridgingvoice.org/ElevenLabs has a ton of information about things that you may face or questions you may have. There is also a lovely peer support network, which includes Richard Cave. And so you are welcome to email anybody on this list to join their community voice banking practices peer support network. And lastly, I would like to let you know about some of the supports that we have here at Bridging Voice. Every Tuesday, 4:30 Eastern Time, we have an hour block set aside where our Bridging Voice team members, as well as our Bridging Voice ambassadors, which are individuals with ALS MND, we are there to answer questions. We are there to kind of guide you or walk you through anything. And if you find that you would like some translation support, please reach out to us at Bridging Voice and we can get that set up. I've given you a QR code to get signed up for notices about those, and you can also register using the tiny URL, which Jessica has. Bridging Voice also has further trainings on this topic on our YouTube channel, which you're welcome to join. And you can also find other training information on there as well. I haven't been able to peek at the comment section versus while presenting, but I did say somewhat, what if someone's voice hasn't changed? Should they do recordings? The answer is emphatically yes. We have quite a few presentations about saving your voice while you still have your voice, and everybody should do recordings. Everybody, everybody, everybody. And I want to say thank you And here is a way for you to reach both myself as well as Richard Cave. Info@bridgingvoice.org. If you want to reach me directly, it's trinity@bridgingvoice.org. And you could reach Mr. Richard Cave at richard.cave.17@ucl.ac.uk. And this is the most appropriate way to reach Richard. And that is it. I am ready to take on the onslaught of questions. Richard, thank you for answering those in the chat. And I am ready for any questions that may have come up, Jarnell and Jessica.
Fantastic. Thank you, Trinity. Thank you, Richard, for an amazing presentation. Yeah, without a doubt, I think the power and the experience of each of the people and the contributors that you worked with really helped to illustrate just how important and how valuable voice cloning, voice preservation technology is. Richard, you've been doing an amazing job answering a number of questions in line. And I'm going to start with some of the pre-submitted questions. And Trinity, Richard, this is over to you. One of them was, if a person's voice is slurring, how effective will the voice tool be for them?
Yeah, so for example, you heard that Gudjon has already experienced some voice changes. You are going to, in fact, hear the slowing of their voice in the quality of the AI voice clone. As Richard has shared previously, if, for example, you have a stutter or an influency in your voice, you are going to hear that as well. In those cases where someone has already experienced some voice changes, they may choose to, and that's the nice thing about making an instant voice clone, is that you could make a clone just doing a couple of minutes of recording, listen to it, hear what you think of it. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Then maybe I want to grab some recordings. Do I want a voice made with just my recordings? Or do I want to make a voice that's a combination of both, which is the recordings with my voice slowing as well as with my voice previously? And that really is the nice thing that allows somebody to truly make a voice the way they want to. It gives them that autonomy to choose their identity with their voice.
And related to that was another pre-submitted question, which was, is there an easy way for people to combine home videos, the content from there, to create that voice, even if there are other people and their voices in the video? How would you go about addressing that?
Yeah. So we have previous recordings actually about that on our Bridging Voice YouTube channel, but also Boston Children's Hospital, their YouTube channel has information about using Audacity for audio editing. Audacity is lovely for being able to just take a home video file, drag it over, drop it into Audacity, which is free, let it go. It will automatically just isolate you. So you'll see, just the audio portion, not the visual portion. And you can go in and cut out chunks easily. Remember, once you have that audio file, you can also use a couple of different options. If you are working, for example, with a partner, they, for example, may use something like Audio Shake connection to be able to get that to pull those other people out. Or you could use the Voice Lab, the Launch Lab as well to be able to do that. But again, using a program such as Audio Shake allows you to kind of use AI to grab those individual pieces. But it can be done, and there is support out there for you. So please don't think about that isn't an option.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Trinity. And of course, I know that you've worked with all of these tools and that they are accessible, which is great. Question. Sorry, Richard, go ahead, please.
No, I just want to add that actually in kind of recent times, people's voice is very personal, and actually even when voice has changed a little bit, some people actually prefer that because that's where they are right now. And it's just so personal, and I've given up betting on what works and what not because it's never my decision. So yeah,
that personal choice is so important, so powerful as well. Question that just sort of came after the session. I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer it, or whether somebody from ElevenLabs will. Will the online requirement be removed at some point in the future?
You know what? That is an ElevenLabs statement, but I'm going to tell you not right now. And the reason why is because you're talking about some pretty high powered processing in order to create these ElevenLabs. Remember that these voices, one of the biggest differences that you're going to see between a voice that is stored locally on your computer versus one that is processed in the cloud, these voices are responding to the language. It's looking at the words. If it's saying, Jarnell, I'm very mad at you, it is changing my voice pitch to say, Jarnell, I am very mad at you, or wow, Richard, I can't believe it. We got through that presentation and I think it went well. Again, my voice, my ElevenLabs voice is actually going to respond like that. So it's looking for commas and question marks and periods. It's looking at the words that you're actually using in order to change your pitch, your excitement level, your prosody. If there's an exclamation point, it actually speeds up your speech. So that's a pretty high level processing that I don't see right now happening in our current level of communication devices. But as we know, AI is growing so fast. And as the chips within computers start to process faster, it'll happen, but it's not going to happen right now.
Could I just add, I agree with everything that Trinity says. I always do. But Trinity was very, very careful with making sure that we all understood about what is spontaneous speech, stuff that requires access, and what is available in cache. So stored messages, that all of that can be used offline at any time. The ElevenLabs voice offline. I work with lots of people who want to talk or present or do speeches or do something for work where they know the words, and or they say similar things every single day. I barely say anything different from one day to the next, and so I can store 90% of what I'm going to say tomorrow. And that means from practical perspective, for presentations, for everyday stuff, you can use it offline. But I also agree with Trinity. I do not believe there is any time soon where the whole thing is going to be offline from ElevenLabs.
Great. Another technical question. How does the watermarking work?
Well, that is a challenging one. And they haven't been really great about, that's above my head as a speech pathologist, I do have to admit. But what I have been told is it is not perceptible by any human listener. It is only perceptible by another computer, which is able to recognize this voice as being one that is synthetically generated or an AI computer voice, that it is recognized as not being a human voice. That is for the professional voice clone. We can't hear it. There's nothing we can see. It is magic.
I just want to add that this technology is fantastic for our community, though it's been around for a bit longer than we've had access to it. And so all the institutions, all the professional, all the groups know about this stuff. And so the watermarking, it's like, is there, and it's being used in all sorts of places, both professionally and elsewhere. So there are things in place to be able to spot what is real and what isn't. But by the same token, what Trinity said about two-step authentication, making sure your API is safe, do all of those, because this is your voice and it's your asset, and just let's keep it safe because it represents you.
Absolutely. If you think about it almost as an audio meta tag that is perceptible to machines and computers that will be tuned to pick up to it. And what it does is it provides a level of transparency so that should there be any issues about provenance of that voice, then the watermark provides certainty that this is a synthetic voice and not a recording of a person's actual voice. So,
yeah, and Yeah, and in the short little video about the API code, Abby / our AI voice was very clear to say, you know, that API code is similar to your banking code. If you are no longer using your communication device, whether it was from a loan closet or you have to send it to someplace to be repaired, or you are donating the device to somebody else, you would not leave your bank ID. You would not leave your banking passwords in there. Therefore, you should not leave your API code in there as well. And again, if you still had the device, you can remove your API code, for example, from the language section within your software or from the Bridging Voice integration program. Or you can go in, you know, for example, if it was lost or given away and then you remembered, oh my goodness, I gave it away. Abby showed you how to go into your ElevenLabs account and delete that API code so that you can pull that back and that can't be used.
Great. We are running a little bit over time, but we have hopefully just time for the last question, which is there anything else that can be done once you've already lost your voice?
So yeah, so if you've already lost your voice, again, grabbing those files to create a voice makes a beautiful voice. And you don't have to have a lot of them, but remember, you can grab them from home videos, you can grab them from YouTube presentations or any sort of web-based presentations. Any audio files that you may have, for example, a voice memo, a WhatsApp voice memo, uh, and also notice on a lot of back up, a lot of telephones. I am going to take my blur off for just a second. I would like you to notice, especially on Apple products, in your deleted messages. So I'm in my messages. Under your deleted messages, there's actually a separate file that holds all of your deleted messages on your iPhone. A lot of people don't know this. And if you don't go in and clear this out, this is where deleted messages will be. And this has been the biggest key to people you know, talking with their family and friends and finding old recordings is in their deleted messages folder that never got deleted. And I've had some people that have like 5 years worth of deleted messages in there. And so oftentimes can go back and get something from that. But we are happy to, you know, again, Richard and myself, as well as our Bridging Voice team, are happy to work through troubleshooting. We would love the chance to be able to help you troubleshoot finding a voice or making sure your voice is clear before you assume that you just can't have a voice.
I just want to add, this is so important that, you know, wedding videos, any celebration video, you can, you know, we can help you to isolate your voice. And you'd be amazed. I was amazed at how many places record my voice. One enterprising young lady here in the UK, she phoned her bank, or she got somebody to phone her bank and said, you know what, I know you've been recording these calls. I would like them back, please. And her bank, her bank sent her the calls, you know, with just her voice and nothing confidential. One lady only had an answer phone message. It was 8 seconds long. And we created from that. So it's, yeah.
We'll squeeze in one last question before I hand over to Jess to close the webinar. So in 15 seconds or less, can you use it offline in Communicator?
Yes, you can use it offline in Communicator with your pre-stored phrases. Absolutely.
Perfect.
And we do have integrations for that as well. So please reach out to Bridging Voice if that's for anyone across the globe.
That's great. Thank you, Trinity. Thank you, Richard. Some of the feedback already is coming in about how amazing this webinar has been. I'd just like to endorse that and hand over to Jess to close the webinar.
So yes, wow is all I have to say to all of you. On behalf of the Alliance, a big thank you to our presenters, Trinity Divert and Richard Cave, for such a clear and thoughtful demonstration. And also thank you to all the contributors for sharing their experiences, and Janelle for moderating. We really appreciate you sharing your time, knowledge, and insights today. Thank you to our sponsor, Mitsubishi Tanabe Pharma America, for making this webinar possible. Your continued support means a lot. And of course, thank you to all of you who joined us today and for being so engaging throughout and with all the questions that you shared with us. Just wrap up wishing you all a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for today.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.